Hey friend, welcome back to Living in His Purpose. And if you're new here, I'm Eve. And today we're going to get personal, just a little bit. I've been preparing for a workshop that truthfully, I didn't expect to do this spring. It's all about relationships and not just the sweet, easy coffee chat kind. I'm talking about the hard ones, the confusing ones, the ones that leave us questioning our worth, our calling, and sometimes even our walk with God. And can I be honest with you right off the bat, right out of the gate? I just want to put this out there. I didn't want to talk about relationships. I told God, this doesn't really feel like my lane. I've had my fair share of struggles in this area. Conflict, misunderstanding, learning when to stay, when to walk away. But he reminded me, it's not about your ability, Eve. It's about what I've shown you. It's about how I do relationships. And I was so grateful that he shared that particular part with me. And then everything shifted. So today's episode is less of a teaching and more of a reflection. I want to bring you into what God has been showing me in his word and in my coaching and even in my own heart lately. It's about toxic relationships, yes, but also difficult ones, God-honoring ones, and the internal work it takes to show up well in all of them, because we're not meant to do this walk alone. We are meant for relationship. And if you think about it, from the existence of God, which no one knows when that is even a thing, if he even started or ended, right? He has a relationship. And that was like a light bulb for me personally when I realized, well, of course relationships are important to him. We have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? He is relationship. We're not meant to do this alone. God is not alone. He's given us the example, and we are to be with others. But we're also not meant to stay stuck in patterns that keep us from walking in peace. Okay, so let's start here. God is relational. From the beginning, he created us in community, Adam, Eve, and himself. In Genesis, God said, it is not good for man to be alone. And then he gave Eve as a helper. Now, fast forward to Jesus' time on earth, and we see him navigating all sorts of relationships. He had family and family drama. He had friends who were clueless sometimes. He had strangers everywhere. But does Jesus really know a stranger? That's my question. And he even had enemies. Lots and lots of them. And here's the thing that I keep coming back to. Jesus loved every single one of them, but he didn't treat everyone the same. He had his inner circle friends, Peter, James, and John. He had people that he taught in crowds, healed in passing, and called out boldly. And then there were the Pharisees, just leaders who looked the part, but whose hearts were far from God. And Jesus called them out. He said, you whitewashed tombs. He wasn't cruel. He was being clear. And that's taught me something really important. Love doesn't mean that you let everyone in. And love doesn't mean that you say yes to abuse, yes to manipulation, or yes to chaos. So let's talk about the difference between a difficult relationship and a toxic one, because this is where so many of us, I feel like, get tripped up, especially as Christian women. We've been taught to forgive endlessly, love sacrificially, and be peacemakers. And yes, Jesus does call us to do all these things, but he's never asked us to confuse love with enablement or sacrifice with self-destruction. So here's a simple framework that I've been using, okay, to decide if it's difficult or if it's toxic. A difficult relationship challenges you. It might be frustrating, but it still has a space for mutual growth, honesty, and repair. And you can work through things with prayer and effort from both sides. A toxic relationship continuously causes harm. It's marked by control, manipulation, dishonesty, or emotional chaos. And no matter how much you try, it never moves towards health. But here's the kicker. Sometimes we stay in these toxic patterns, not because we're loyal, but because we're afraid of what leaving would say about us. So let me pause here and speak to something I know someone listening needs to hear. You are not selfish for practicing peace. You are not unloving for setting a boundary. You are not disobedient to God if you walk away from something that is harming your heart and your soul. Jesus himself walked away from people. In Luke 4, when the crowd tried to push him off a cliff for speaking the truth, he didn't argue with them or beg them to stay. Just walked through the crowd and went on his way. Now, friend, you don't have to explain or defend every decision to those who do not even see your heart. Sometimes obedience to God looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like distance. And sometimes it'll look like staying, but with a whole new wisdom and insight and stronger boundaries. Okay. Let's shift gears just a little bit, because before we even get to what other people are doing to us, there's something that we need to talk about. What are we thinking about people in our lives? Our thoughts, and if you've been here for any amount of time, you know that I say this all the time. This is so central that we understand how powerful our thoughts are. Our thoughts shape our emotions. Our emotions fuel our actions, and our actions form our habits and the results that we get in life. Now, in coaching, I use this tool called the thought ladder. It's not original. It's not an original thought. It's pretty plain, but I use this to help people move from painful, unhealthy thoughts into truth-based, spirit-led beliefs. It's not instantaneous. It's not fluffy. It is deep, renewing work, but it is so beautiful. So here's an example. This is what it looks like. Say you've been thinking, if I let this person go, I'm a failure. Now, we don't just jump to the I'm strong and free thought, because your brain does not work that way. It's not going to buy it. But we might be able to move up a step to say something like this. Maybe letting go is actually a form of love. And then eventually we can say something along the line, I can trust God with their growth and mine. That's how we renew our minds. We are using compassion and patience, not only for others, but for ourselves. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And girl, that includes your mind about people. So here's something I want you to do. I want you to journal or pray through this thought this week. God, what are you trying to show me about how I love and who I keep trying to fix? Because let's be honest, some of us are trying to be the saviors in our relationship that Jesus never asked us to do. We're pouring out from a place of guilt or fear or even pride, and it's leaving us exhausted and disconnected from the very thing we want, which is peace. Now, what if peace is the sign you're walking in God's will? What if surrender isn't just for your circumstances, but also for your relationships? Okay, now as I wrap this up, and I'm keeping it short and sweet, I got lots to do today. Here's what I hope that you take from this conversation. A few things. Number one, you are not alone in your relational struggles. Jesus understands every single one. While he walked on this earth, he went through everything that every human could walk through. Whether or not it's described in the Bible in detail or not, he knows, he understands where you're coming from. Number two, you are allowed to guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23 says it's the wellspring of life. And Jesus said, don't throw your pearls to the pigs. And this is what he's talking about. He considers our heart and our emotional seat and our will and our thoughts sacred and precious. And he's telling us, don't just throw them out for people who are not going to respect or love them. Number three, you are not weak for letting go of what's toxic. I'm here to tell you, you are wise. This is a hard thing to do. Number one, to recognize a toxic relationship, but number two, to step back from a toxic relationship. And it's wisdom. You will find so much peace there, I promise. Number four, and you are deeply loved, not because you get relationships right, but because you are his. Okay, now, if this episode has stirred anything in you, take it to prayer. Maybe it's time to grieve a relationship. Maybe it's time just to set a boundary, and maybe it's time to renew your thoughts. Or maybe it's time to come to the workshop. Now, if you're local to Southwest Missouri, I'd love to see you this Saturday. We're going to go even deeper into all of this, biblically, practically, and honestly. It's a safe space to explore what God is saying about your relationships and, more importantly, your identity in Him. But even if you don't come, I want you to know something. I see you. God sees you, and you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not disqualified. You're just becoming more like Jesus, and that is always worth celebrating. And hey, if you're sitting with all this and you're thinking, I don't even know where to start, I want you to know you do not have to figure this out alone. Sometimes we just need a sounding board, someone who gets it and can help us process that swirling thoughts, those emotions that are all over the place, and the decisions that we don't even know why we're making. If that's you in this season of life, I offer single coaching sessions for moments just like this. Now, whether you're trying to build a boundary or rebuild a boundary, whether you're wanting to learn how to take your thoughts captive or even just identify your thoughts, or simply untangle all that's been weighing on you, I am here. You can reach out through the link in the show notes and we'll take it one step at a time together. Thank you so much for being here today, friend. Share this episode with a sister who might need it. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe so we can keep walking this out together in His purpose. I love you, friend. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.